In the month leading up to Christmas, the upper Dorset Stour settled down to a sort of normal winter level. The amount of colour in the river varied from a nice tinge to pretty clear, and it was on one of the clearer days that I went after some chub, just simple trotting with bread and liquidised bread. So let's see how I got on. I've come on to the upper Stour today, fishing a swim I fished a couple of months ago. The level's about the same as them, but it's gin clear now. We had a very hard frost yesterday, -5, but today it's much warmer. It's 10 degrees C and going up a bit, a little bit of drizzle. I've got my Avenger 2000, which has got a little bit of power if I do get a chub, which is what I'm hoping for. Mitchell match, some 3-pound line, a 5 No. 4 Drennan alloy stem Avon with some fairly small shot and a size 14 Preston N20. I'm going to fish a little pinch of bread flake and feed a little bit of liquidised bread. I'm just starting off trotting down the middle. Just put a little bit of liquidised bread in, tiny amount, just a trickle. See if we can find a chub. The wind's a stiff breeze downstream, which is not ideal. I know there's some fish in here, but whether they'll bite with it so clear. Last time it had lots of colour, it'd been mild, and instead of chub I got roach. I can't see the roach feeding at all in this. Just push the float up a bit, fish a bit deeper. Just a little pinch of liquidised, just a little trickle to go down the river. Just might tempt a chub. I might have to find somewhere faster if this slow water's no good. The float seems to be shotted down too far, so I've just taken a number 6 shot off it. Let's see what's going on. Hoping there's a bit more flow here. The wind's certainly awkward today, coming in a bit northwesterly or westerly. Oh, I've hooked a fish. Looks like a lively little chub. It just dragged under then. Thought it was on the bottom like the last swim. Just a small chub, keep him out of the weeds. Catching a fish today is going to be a bonus. Little chub about 12 ounces. I'm surprised I didn't catch any in that first swim, but a fish will do. In again. There's quite a lot of weed in the edges. It feels a little bit bigger this time. It's certainly spirited. Drag him over the reeds. This one's double the size of the last one. Only a pound and a half or so, but welcome on a cold day. A lovely fish. That's 2 casts and 2 fish. When I fished this stretch a few weeks ago, the only chub I caught was about 5 inches long. And it was roach all the way. They like the roach, definitely like that colour there in here, but I don't think they'll bite at all with it clear. Might get one at one of the other swims. Just see if I can get it into the main current this time. Straight into a fish again. Once again, bending the rod double. That's no roach. I'm trying to get into the bottom. I'm trying to get into the snags in the side, come out. He's not even that big, but he's very, very strong. It's another one of about 1.5 pounds. Can't believe how hard fighting that one was. It's not a big chub, but very, very lively. Determined to get into the reeds on my side. Well, he got in there, but he didn't stay in there. The wind's a bit on and off. It's coming across downstream, but across the river as well. And although it's not very wide, it's sort of funneling in and pushing the line my way. I don't want to fish a heavy float for chub. A light float. The bread stays on like that time and you can recast gently. It's quite good if you can cast in again, especially for big roach, which we're not going to catch today. But that bread is just goes in as a soggy mess. It doesn't have to absorb the water and become soft. And the fish almost drink it in, which is a bit like the feed. A feed, once it gets down a few feet, soon they can just sip it in. Halfway down the swim that time there was a little dip. I don't know whether it was a fish or what. It certainly seemed to be a dig. I think it's time for the next swim. Have a go a bit further down. There's a hole under this tree and sometimes there's chub down here. 2 or 3 years ago I caught some chub. There's a hawthorn bush against the tree here and the chub was absolutely full of the hawthorn berries, coughing them up. Let's see if there's a fish down here. There's all sorts in this hole, roach as well as chub. Well, there's roach in every swim, but they're not biting today very much. set a bit deep. It tugged under then, I pulled it back and there was a fish on the end. Lively little chub, not very big. £1/4. Going absolutely daft. Still it'll do on a cold day. Bit like my first one, probably about 10 or 12 ounces. Taking the bait well down. I lost sight of the float then and the fish was on. This feels a bigger fish. Yeah, trying to get him to rush it here. Correct. Get it right. Yeah, buck. Hey, nice dace. Makes a change. Hope you've enjoyed this video. The fishing really is simple. It's a case of trying different swims in the right sort of conditions, a fairly clear river, normal winter level. Trying swims for a while, seeing if you can draw up some fish or persuade them to feed. Sometimes they feed fairly quickly, so you can get bites almost first cast. Other times it takes a while to find them. But I don't give a swim more than about an hour and then try another swim. And I wouldn't fish too many swims in a short session. In 3 hours I might fish 6 swims at the most, and usually 3 or 4 swims. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and I'll see you again soon.